everyone, and welcome to the LiME Academy podcast. It's great to be back. We have numerous special guests joining us today, and hope to be a great time. Today we're going to be talking about education and the education system in Australia, and that's going to be led by our LiME teacher, who's to my, that way, is that way me? Very nice teacher. Yeah, we have our guest with us, but I'm going to hand over to Uncle Ephraim to introduce our guest. So, Ephraim.
Thank you, King David. Welcome, everyone. My name is Ephraim Osai. I lead Multicultural Professional Bridge, which is a parent body for LiME. We are really over the moon with what LiMErs are achieving with this podcast. I don't want to make the mistake of doing injustice to the kind of profile we have on stage today. So I will really, if they don't mind, ask them to introduce themselves. We're so blessed to have Cornelius and Natasha with us today. They are LiME mentors, and they are also our special guests today. So please, I'll hand over to Cornelius and Natasha. Let's start with Natasha, please.
Hi, everyone. Really good to be here. As Ephraim said, I'm Natasha, and I've been involved with LiME as a mentor. I also work full-time in mining for a company called BHP in the learning and development space as the manager of training, design, and HR.
Thank you, Natasha. Cornelius, please. Sorry, Cornelius, your mic is still on.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, here we go.
Good. At least I get a second take. So similar to Natasha, I'm extremely glad to be here. Cornelius is also a mentor, just like Natasha for LiME for the last couple of years. Enjoy really working with the young men and women involved in LiME. I also work in the mining industry, I'm a geologist by training, if I could put it that way, and I manage geoscience operational activities, most of the time based on site, similar to today. So hence, a bit dressed for the occasion.
Thank you so much, Cornelius and Natasha. You can see how rich LiME is. So I will really hand over to King David now and LiME to take it from there. King David, please.
Thank you very much, Cornelius. Thank you, Natasha. And thank you, Ephraim. And firstly, I'd like to welcome our audience that's joining us today. Welcome. Yeah, I'm King David. As Ephraim has said, we have Nichi above me, Keisha to the to the right of me, and Cornelius to the left of me, Ephraim this way, and Natasha this way. And welcome to the LiME podcast. Yeah, today, as I said earlier, we're going to be diving into education, and that's going to be led by our LiME Keisha. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Keisha to take the floor right now and officially begin the podcast. So with a round of applause today.
Hello everyone, my name is Keisha and today our podcast is about the topic education. I'd like to open up the topic asking you, do you like school or not? Please leave your comments.
And I think whilst we are getting comments coming through, guys, yes, we just want to keep engaging our mentors, King David and Nietzsche. We'll do it in parallel as well.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, well, do I like school? I mean, school's okay. It definitely has its good parts, and it definitely has its bad parts.
Perfect.
Obviously, you know, as a youth, I don't really like doing all the assessments and whatnot, but otherwise, yeah, I like the being able to talk to friends at school. It's a nice environment to be able to grow myself. That's what I think about school. Yeah, what about you, King David?
For me, this is my last job. Next week is my last week of school, and I'm really in for 2 days. Then I'm back later. First 2 weeks of term 4, and like this year's been good. I feel like school has its ups and downs. Doesn't matter what school you are. You can go to any school, and it could be the best school depending on your relationship with teachers, your relationship with students, and sorts like that. But yeah, school is really good for me because of the people I hang out with. I play basketball. I play soccer, I hang out with my mates, I get to talk to them. And really, school is the only time I can really hang out with them because most of my friends, they're doing ATAR. And right now, they're all studying and everything. But school during break or during lunch, recess, whatever you call it in your school, is the only time that I get to really hang out with them. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. Met him.
For the mentors, how do you guys feel about school? Well, when you guys were at school.
Yeah.
School, unfortunately, was a long time ago for me compared to some of you all. So I have to try to remember back that far. But I don't think I particularly liked school either. I think I just liked the socializing from school, hanging out with my friends and all of that. And I think as I've grown up, I wished that I actually paid more attention in school. I think what I've developed over the course of the year, though, is a love for learning. Yeah, not so much a big fan of school.
Yeah. Yourself, Cornelius?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Look, for me, I'm not sure if I like school as well, but I always find myself going back. It's something I love to hate, but I still end up loving it. I just finished a program December last year. After a grueling 3 years of study. I think when we used to have some of our LiME sessions at one of the centers, I would probably spend the better part of the morning studying, then join for the LiME session later in the afternoon. So yes, similar to everyone, it's not fun, it's hard work. But look, you got to do what you got to do, right?
That's true. We've just seen a comment that come through by Miriam Badashil. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, saying that she enjoys seeing her friends at school but not the subjects. Well, to a certain degree, same. Yeah. I don't like a lot of my subjects either. Yeah.
Excellent. What about you? Did you enjoy school?
Oh, I'm not going to be different from Natasha and Cornelius. I really did not enjoy school. I did like some subjects. I liked my maths. And I was also fond of some of my teachers. I must have to confess here, especially the ladies. I was quite fond of my beautiful lady teachers. So they gave me additional incentives to go to school sometimes.
Hey. Additional incentives. Hey.
I have to be frank here. So yeah, but school is like Cornelius said, it's something that you would love to hate, but very important. I could go to school even now. Why not?
Well, I actually really enjoyed school, and it was kind of an adventure for me because I actually went to more than one school. So I went to a lot of schools, and I really loved studying. It went up to a point where my parents had to try and pull me out of my room, to not study and take a break, and it didn't work. That's how much I loved school. I loved the electives and everything that was being offered, and I loved learning new stuff. And But actually, I still love learning new things. I feel that this is kind of teaching us new things as well in a way, though, this podcast.
Yeah.
Can I just say that everyone enjoyed sport at school, and the sport was everyone's favorite.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Sport.
Just waiting,
Love sport. Love
for
sport.
last period on a Wednesday right now. Sport, and then just go, and that's it. Sport is everyone's favorite period. Yeah.
I disagree because my favorite was actually science.
Real.
I was quite crazy about that since the start.
Can I just chip in here? I know that there are other questions coming. If I may just also like to ask Cornelius and Natasha, we're talking about school. Does the industry still appreciate and value school these days? What's qualification like in terms of employment? Because we are talking also of career. We're not doing school for school's sake. We want to get onto career later. What do you think?
Do you want to go first, Cornelius?
Yes,
I think
please.
you're in an area where we have a different
Yes, please go first, Natasha, please.
I was actually offering you to go first, but I'm
really?
happy to
Okay.
go first. I think I think it's an interesting one because there's certain professions and careers where actually you don't get a choice. I think if you don't have the right qualifications, you're not going to actually step into those spaces. But I think it varies in different industries. I think from my own personal perspective, what qualifications does is it opens the doors for you into spaces that if you don't necessarily have those qualifications, you may not be able to step into. Sometimes going for the great jobs, you're competing with a lot of other students. And when you can show that you have kind of done a lot of study and you are quite educated in certain subjects, I think it does put you in a good place. But like I said before, I think overarching, if you've got a love for learning and you're constantly learning, I mean, Cornelius has shared of how he's still learning now, that truly is a good skill and is very attractive in all industries, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Look, apologies. I think I missed it when you said I should go first, so I'll go now. So yes, it's still very important, but I think the context is shifting a little bit. It's not just about the qualification, right? But there's now more emphasis on the process. Right? So I think going to school teaches you, or liking study, right, opens up not just the door to get in, like Natasha said, but the ongoing growth, growth in your identified industry. And I think the face of what the jobs of the future would look like is changing ever so frequently nowadays. That you can't really be too fixated on a certain path. I think you need to stay flexible to be able to pivot. Depends on how the industry is moving. So I think that's a critical piece, that the whole learning process from pre-primary or kindy all the way to your year 12. I think it's all that skill set that it gives you overall.
And I quickly jump in. Even after high school, when you are in the workforce, Cornelius touched on this, you're still going to is it P? No, that's you're still going to development days. For example, teachers, when we get to middle school, teachers are going for development days in the week so that they can train. They've spent how many years in uni and they become teachers, but they still need to go to these training days so that they can develop and know what is new, especially during COVID season. Like all of them had to go online, and they had to go to probably like a wide number of these development days so they can improve their skills. So I feel like learning or going to school is something that you're continuously doing over the course of your career and everything you do. But yeah, that's just basically it.
Okay.
Fine. The next question is, what electives do your colleges offer, or what electives did they offer?
I'll go first.
I'll
Okay.
start off with you, King
Yeah,
David.
I'll go first. So I go to Rossmore Senior High School, and Rossmore offers a wide range of things in languages. Not too many in sports, but a lot in other stuff. For example, we offer photography. We used to offer like radioing skills, DJing skills, but we don't do that anymore. We offer Japanese, German, Chinese, um, volleyball scholarship. We offer um, yeah, I think that's it. Oh, music scholarships. Yeah, a lot of students come to us using music scholarships. We tailor in classics, trombone, all that stuff. But yeah, that's what my school offers.
Wow, that's a mixture. Nietzsche, over to you. What electives does your school offer?
Well, at our school, well, I think most schools in Australia offer similar electives. Well, we have the languages, and then we have the arts, and then we have the technologies, and then but in those sub branches, you have a lot of bunch of things. At my school, I do dimensional design. I do some music. I've done a bunch of other different things, and there's just a countless number of subjects to pick from, which I think in our modern education for youths, having a variety of options to pick from is really good because it helps us to develop our own thinking and to follow what we like. Yeah.
Well, my answer is going to be a bit interesting because I went to quite a few schools because of moving countries and all that. The first two that I went to, one was in Kuwait, so Gulf Indian School, actually three because there was Blossoms in India and there was also St. Anne's High School. They didn't exactly offer any electives because the way that the Indian school works is that you just do everything up until you get to college. And means is that once you get into college, depending on what line you take, you do those subjects. So, for instance, let's just say that you wanted to be a doctor. At least in India, as far as I know, there are generally three streams. There's science, and there are two other ones that I've forgotten actually, or there was home economics, and I've not actually done the streams because I didn't ever go to college in India. I had the college that I did over here, they offered quite a few things. They offered stitching, they offered cooking. This is the first one that I went to Lumen Christie. They offered music, and music meant that they offered specialist and they offered general. And what I mean by that is that they had also offered general music in the case that you get a bit of knowledge of it and so on, so on, so on. With the specialists, they offered separate instrumental lessons. So that could be voice, which I did sometimes. It could be piano, and you can actually like borrow an instrument or something from them as well. They offered the second high school that I went to, they did offer, they were not actually ETA, and it wasn't actually a mainstream school. So they did offer still, there was choir and there was band. But the way that that school worked is that if there wasn't exactly a demand for it, so for instance, if us as kids, the students didn't actually ask for it, then it wouldn't generally be there. So there was cooking, but then let's just say that they noticed that there was no interest in it, like maybe next term, the first term, then they may not or may not run the next term.
Yeah.
So that's how that worked.
Sorry, King David, you were going to go there. Otherwise, I'd like to chip in.
All right, now you can go.
No, I think I was just going to, because I know you guys were going to come to us anyway. So sometimes with the older folks, when you talk about elective, it is now that we are appreciating the whole use of electives. I wish I did more than one language. I wish I could use my hands. And I think King David can relate to this. We have come from a background where DIY was not our thing. So even up to now, getting me to put a portrait on the wall is it's like asking me to do something very difficult. So I really appreciate this issue of elective, because sometimes at this age, the youth do not appreciate the importance it will be for later. So, and again, I would like to invite in Tash and Cornelius now. In terms of employment, what are some of those key electives, if you like, that we are seeing? Oh, Cornelius fall off. I think he'll come back. Well, let's keep going with Tash.
I don't know. That's a hard question, Ephraim. What sort of electives are we seeing? I think, it comes to the conversation that Cornelia said before around.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, with development. And even King David kind of shared a little bit about it too. There's so much changes to job roles. Nothing's really the same. So, we might be doing something, but it's all these other things, like in the technology space, especially, where you could look at that as electives to learn how to, take videos of yourself so that you can communicate by video instead of email. There was a big focus on written communication and making sure that your report writing is well and you can communicate well. But we're seeing trends of, communication in video form being, more engaging. So there's always little things like that where you have to develop extra skills. That's, not what you're normally doing. Like if you start to get more leadership roles and you have to develop these electives and learn about how to deal with different kinds of people, how to, resolve conflict, how to influence, there's all sorts of things that I have to always learn and develop in to get better, because I think we do lots more team-based work and the work is constantly changing. Our environments are changing. And so we're always having to kind of figure out how we cope. Some people, we never used to work from home as much. And so if we at work and things aren't working on our technology, we kind of get someone in to help us. But, now that we're working from home, we have to learn how to fix our sound ourselves and like connect up to our computers ourselves. And all of these things are things that we're having to learn because our environment and our context is changing.
Look, can you still hear me? Sorry, I dropped off for a second there.
Yeah.
Look, I think when I think if I cast my mind back to when we were in school, I always loved the outdoors. Loved my geography. I think that was what drove me into the geosciences to be a geologist. I think it really gave me the opportunity to explore what I really love, what I love doing. But like Natasha said, it gets to a point where the skill set can only take you, or it supports you to get to a certain point, and you really need to start now diversifying into the skill sets that actually support you in the workplace, and not just you, but supports your teammates as well. So yes, I still love the outdoors. That's why I still love working on site. I still love looking at rocks. It's a part of me that I can't seem to get rid of. I was out today looking at rocks as well. And I think when you enjoy what you do, so the main takeaway is when you enjoy what you do, it doesn't really feel like a job as much anymore. Right. And every other thing tends to fall into place.
Yeah, and just adding to Cornelius's last statement, when you love what you do, the technology, the other skills that you need will you yourself will go look for it. You wouldn't wait for your employer or your employer to go look for it, because again, as you move up in the workforce or as you stay longer in the workforce, 100% you'll need something to differentiate yourself from from others. So you definitely go look for yourself, like, hey, what can I do or like equip myself with that when people look at my resume, they'll be all like, oh, this guy does this. Like compared to everyone else that we have on our resume list, he is the most diverse out of all of them. And people are looking for people with more experience, more qualifications. So they'll definitely take you. So when you love what you're doing, it will not feel like a job going to look out for these other skills, soft skills, and other things that you're going to develop and all that. So yeah, I feel like technology is great, and like even if your school offers limited or not enough electives, like going for the ones that they do offer, because definitely they will help you. Yeah, like back in Nigeria when I used to go to school, they used to teach French. I'm regretting not like it was a long time ago. And moving to Australia, then you don't all the schools I've been in, you don't learn French. You learn other languages. Like I'm regretting not learning French because French is a great language. But if I ever think to move to France, I would love to learn it. And also with you developing as well, you definitely move places. So learning languages, learning new skills will also help you as a point of interest when talking to people and everything. But yeah.
Mm.
Can I just add to that, King David? I think that kind of linking your learning and your development to things that are of interest is really important. We talked about from the start around how hard it is, because it's not easy. We know many of us have said that we didn't even really like school. But when we're interested in something, it's different. We don't mind to push a little bit past and actually do the hard things. And an example of something that I had recently was, I mean, I did French at school for 3 years. And I don't even know if I can remember anything, to be honest. And you think 3 years, like, how is it that I think even in that 3 years, I probably didn't really remember anything. I did it just because I needed to. I didn't really have any interest. But a few years ago, because of our work and also our connection with South America, we were kind of interacting with a lot of people that have Spanish as their first language. And we could see that it was hard to kind of connect up with some of these colleagues because they didn't really understand English as much. And so I started learning Spanish, and I'd always kind of said, I still feel a little bit that I'm not good with learning languages, but because I was interested in it, I took the time, and it was fun. Even though it was hard, it was still fun because I was interested and I could see how I could use it. And so I think that's a really important thing for all of us. If we broaden our interests and start at least in the space of, things that interest us, it might help us keep going.
Okay, so the next question is, have any of you ever done coding? And if so, what have you created? However big or small it may be.
Yeah, I'll go first again. Back when I was in primary school, we had robotics, and we had to code. Or we did it it was mainly year six. We didn't do it any other year, but besides year six, because that's when like robotics really peaked, and like schools started getting robotics and all that stuff. So we had these little mini robots, like about the size of an iPhone 10 or a bit taller, and or like yeah, and we had to program it to do this dance, and then we're gonna have a competition to see which robot had the best dance. And like I remember programming my robot to like do these cool dances, and like it was really good. Unfortunately, my team couldn't win because another team, they came with a speaker, and this speaker was like glow in the dark. They had to turn out the lights for this because the speakers would glow out in the dark, and then there was water inside the speaker. So when the bass would hit, the waters would go like bloom, bloom, bloom. And it was so unfair because they didn't tell us you couldn't bring props, man. They didn't tell us, and I was really vexed, and like I was so upset. But it is what it is. But like that's the only time I've ever done coding, and I did try one time in year 7, but those are the only 2 times that I've ever done coding on anything. Yeah.
For me, in terms of coding, I've been doing software engineering, well, just for this year, And for my other computing experiences, I've had doing 3D designing, which is like using Autodesk Inventor and other like CAD softwares to create 3D objects. I can reminisce from year 7, I made keychains and key rings. So that was pretty interesting. And I think I'm making another key ring this year in the subject. And even in primary school, I can remember STEM, which is, I think it's science, technology, engineering, and maths or something like that. We had to make little car robots, and then we had to put in scratch codes to make it move and do courses, and then we had races. And I think that's just a really good way for schools to enhance the way coding impacts on the future. Yeah.
I have done a bit of coding in school as well. There was a part where I was doing a little bit more advanced coding, and then there was a bit of starters. So actually, the first time when I started coding, I didn't actually know much about it. I had gone to one of the schools that I was in, and we had to connect up, you could say, like magnetic strips to actually make a circuit. And then when we had a new teacher, we actually went on to this code.org. It was slightly interesting and boring at the same time, because code.org was actually a bit of like a starter coding thing. So it was a little bit more childish. As my brother and me also got onto the discussion of coding, because he has done a bit as well. And that's what he was telling me. He goes like, that's a bit childish with the code.org, but I've created some circuits as well. But that's the only coding that I've ever done in school. I've not done outside of school. Cornelius, what about you?
Coding, I get other people to do my coding and I pay for it. But look, I think it's a great question. I haven't personally done coding, right? But I think what it calls out, what this conversation is really pulling out for me, is the value of STEM, of the sciences, because it's not just one area. It's being able to use information in one form, translate it into something else to solve problems, right? And I think in the real life, right, in the workplace, what we're all trying to solve is problems for someone else to create value, right? So keep coding, friends. We are solving problems.
Natasha, what about you?
Look, I'm listening to what you're all saying, and I'm feeling so embarrassed when you're talking about things you've done in primary school. It just is like showing how awesome the world is changing and how quickly that's changing. I actually did some really lame and basic coding in university, which was, I think I have 2 examples. One was in like some graphic course that I did where I had to like create this spaceship that flew in from one space of the screen and landed on a platform, and it was really lame, but we were really excited about it. And the other one was in a software course where I had to create a program, like a memory game, you know, where you see those cards like faced over and you have to remember and match up the imagery. Again, the images were very, very basic, but the program worked, and it took months of work with probably really ancient tools. So we were really proud. This is not really a space that I have much skill in, but I have lots of admiration for all you folks that are so comfortable in this space. And to what Cornelia said, I think the opportunities that we have with technology is, how do we do things smarter? I'm talking about spending months, you know, creating these programs, you know, that do really basic things. And nowadays, you know, you guys can think about things and solve problems so much quicker than what we used to in the past. And, you know, that's the fun and the opportunity that we will see more and more as we get more into the technology space, I think.
Tell us about your coding experience, Ephraim.
Yeah, no. I was hoping that someone forgot to ask me because because yeah, myself anything coding. That is why I hated calculus at my school in those days. Calculus, and I think that was the basic coding. If I understand coding a bit. So yeah, for me, it's like Cornelius and Natasha is not my strength at all. But I think what part of this program is doing is anyone out there, the youth, hopefully they are being inspired to take some of these little things serious because what you're hearing from the likes of Cornelius and Natasha today is not what you will hear every day. And then seeing Lyman's on stage just inspiring us. So please take it if you are starting to code now. Who knows? You could be the next Bill Gates, the next Facebook. Who says you cannot be? But once again, for me, yeah, I think I'm done with coding. I can't start now. Sorry, guys.
It's never too late to learn.
I'll learn something else, Mitchell. Thank you.
So the next question is that, do any of you or has any of you done TAFE and school together? I'm going to say that I have actually done, well, I've done quite a few TAFE courses, but when I was in about year 10 or year 11, we actually had this thing called wet and TAFE. So we could actually go out one day of the week and we can actually do school on the rest of the days as well. Some of the schools even tend to allow it 2 or 3 days a week. And I know not the second last school that I went to, but the last school, they actually allowed you to do full-time TAFE and school together because they were quite a flexible school that I was going to the last one. So I know a couple of other people have done that as well. I have done some TAFE courses in school itself. So I have done a certificate 1 in wider opportunities for work. One of them, I've done them in school. I have done a certificate 2 in general education for adults in school. I have also done a certificate 2 in sampling and measurement at North Metropolitan TAFE in Cranesbrook. So this was the out of school one. What about everyone here on stage? Has anyone done such a thing? Evelyn?
I thought I would bring in King David. Sorry.
Okay.
Not.
Okay, let me take the stage. Since no one wants to go. Look, I haven't actually done TAFE specifically, but I think with my kind of work environment, right? You do have to get other skills to be able to work safely, right? And that requires verification of your competence after you have actually done the training. It's a couple of things to be, for example, working at heights or being able to use a forklift, or even if you're not using it, but have the understanding, right, that those doing that activity or doing that work, even if it's not your core expertise, you have enough knowledge to be able to contribute meaningfully, right? So although I've not done a specific TAFE programs, I have had to go through series of competency verifications. Even just driving a 4-wheel drive, right? There is training for that. So irrespective of what you join the workforce with, you do require the ongoing learning, right? And people actually come out to teach you those skill sets that you never have, you've never had the opportunity of learning in the course of TAFE or uni. You bring other skill sets in.
For me, I won't say I've experienced it, but I know people who have experienced what you're just talking about. Doesn't matter where you are, but as long as you go for it, type thing. But yeah, for me, I am part of the vet program, and it allows me to go to school and go to TAFE at the same time. So 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm in school, and Thursday, Friday, I'm at TAFE. Well, Thursday I'm at TAFE, and Friday I'm at work placement. And last year and this year at Thursdays, I completed a Cert 4 in Health Science Foundation, and I can say that I am a holder of the certificate 4 now. So yeah, that is into my C's, 4 C's right there. You know, nice and easy, quick and easy. But yeah, it's I feel like it's something that everyone should try and experience as much as they can before graduating, because it really opens your eyes to the outside world and what uni is going to be like. Because you don't go to uni every single day, and you have to create that work ethic in you to go to study, go to do all the things I need to do. And so, yeah, I feel like it's something that everyone could experience. And yeah, it's really intriguing and really helpful for the future, because I know what to expect when I go to uni next year and for my 3 years of nursing and all that stuff. So, yeah.
While we're here, I'd just like to give a shout out to two people. While we were on the topic of technology, we had two people commenting. We have Venukesh Datharan saying that it is our future. To that, which I say I definitely agree with, coding and all those hardwares and software careers being such a prominent aspect of our society now. Technology will definitely progress and be more prominent in whatever we do in our everyday lives. And over here, James John saying technology will take over the future. Obviously, that's definitely going to be a thing. Maybe artificial intelligence will even replace some humans one day. You know, I've already seen some artificial intelligence robots that look exactly like humans. I think I've seen a couple of radio shows like that as well.
Yeah, it's really controversial, but it is what it is. That's where we're heading. You know, people trying to I know I know we should be talking about it, but people looking into science of transferring your consciousness into artificial intelligence. So yeah, it's the future and all that stuff. I feel like it is what it is type thing. I've seen the movie I, Robot a billion times. I'm already getting myself ready. I know what to expect. So nobody can try me. I know nobody can try me. That's why that's a thing.
Hey guys, can I just chip in here, because Nietzsche, you've really brought in something that is hot, something that there are different opinions, very diverse opinions as people are on it in terms of, is robot, is machine, is AI going to actually take over human beings? Let's start from workplace, because sometimes it's scary that it could be more than workplace. They could even take over homes and all those. But I would just like us, it's not every day we'll have the likes of Tasha and Cornelius here. I want to find out from them whether a robot is already taking over their jobs actively out there. So Tash, you want to go first? Oh, Cornelius is already, anyone?
Okay, I'll go first. Yes, they are robots, right? Believe it or not, we're starting to see them. Funny enough, I was out looking at one today, right? I think just to describe it really briefly, you have to take quality samples, right? And in the past, this used to be a really manual job, but I think we've introduced I guess robotics to the robotic arm and live data, where you capture it, you take it up to the cloud, shows up on your computer screen, make decisions on the spot, reducing the process that used to go for 2 weeks to 2 minutes, right? It's crazy. But would robots ever replace humans? It will be complementary. I think it has to be. It's complementary now, and it will remain complementary because there's something about what the human brings to the story. I think in the organization we work for, we have a saying that says leadership drives culture, and culture drives the performance, right? it's humans that can demonstrate leadership and bring out the best of other humans, right? So that gets the robotics running, right? So it will be complementary, but robotics would not stop. Will continue to grow from strength to strength.
And to add on to that, I feel, even though I'm against it, because I robot, man, but if we address the area of robotics and artificial intelligence correctly, they can create a lot of jobs for us to use. Because if I would say everyone should do it, you follow your passion. But if we go into focus people on going into coding, because we have people doing coding, but we don't have enough people doing coding. Because if we had half the population doing coding, the way we are right now is not where we're going to be. We're like what's that, Back to the Future, how they have flying cars in 2020. I feel like that's what it would be if everyone in the world was doing coding right now. Because who is going to code those robots, those artificial intelligence to do what they do besides us? So if we address it in the right way, I feel like it will take care of a lot of the joblessness, or if I said that right, or like the job loss. But just not get too crazy about it. Like, let's create the next big thing and create a robot that starts probing everybody. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to advance human life, human technology. But that's out there. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's cool, King David. From my perspective, like Ephraim said, we absolutely are seeing robots, and I think we will start to see much more use of robots. I guess in our field, in the HR field, to share some examples of how robots are making things better for doing tasks that maybe humans are doing before, is just even in the recruitment space. When you have thousands of people applying for jobs, typically, beforehand, we had people having to look at all of the applications themselves, deciding, who might be the best candidates, doing all the interviews on their own. But now we're using robots to help kind of identify candidates from application, make some choices in helping to narrow down what might be people that have the right kind of profiles and competencies that we're looking for, so that, the humans, the people can focus on actually doing the interviews and making selection rather than doing everything. So we can be a lot faster, be a lot more accurate, maybe not being as biased as we are as humans in making choices. But I'm a believer. I don't want the humans to take over. I don't want the computers to take over the world. I'm a big fan of humans, King David. I think humans represent something that is different to computers. We've got creativity that is hard to actually, we've got artificial science and, that can kind of mimic us. But I think we as humans will always find ways to be more creative, to kind of hopefully have one up on the robots.
And I'm saying in that now, whoever sees this video in the future, I hope it does not take a robot rebellion for us to realize, no, we're meant to be.
Right now. We don't want the robot rebellion.
Humans are creative. We need a robot rebellion to prove that to us. But also, robotics, there's good sides to it and bad sides to it. And a bad side that we've constantly seen is the weaponizing of robots. We have robots the planes, those are robots right there, jet ships, all that stuff. But when people weaponize and using it for bad things, that's really where I won't say you should draw the line, but really draw the line, because it's meant to progress us as humans. Someone said when part of LiME, artificial intelligence should never create an uprising, because it's created to do what we want it to do. So when we create it to cause harm and all that stuff, it really shows we should pause and take a look at what we're doing. Artificial intelligence is meant to reflect the good sides of us, not the bad sides. Even we know we have bad sides, but they're meant to reflect the good sides. We're meant to think about what we're doing with them. You can't just release robots to go ham on people and feel like you didn't do it, the robot did it. But who's the one who programmed the robot to do it? So yeah, I feel like we should know when to draw the line, of course, concerning robotics and like what we should make it do and all that stuff. But yeah.
Wow. I think King David, the robotics should be scared of you. I can't imagine.
I'm prepared, bro. I'm prepared. Will Smith taught me what to do. I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
Big Will, big Will.
Okay, so we say yes to good robots, yeah?
Yes to only good robots, no bad robots, man. Come on, oh man. But yeah,
Great.
soon.
Okay, I think he is trying to say something, but your mic is
muted. Yeah, your mic.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why the mic muted, but I'm going to talk about our BHP tour that we had as a LiME team. So that's all of us inside the office. There are a couple of other LiMers as well from LiME 1.0, 2.0. And we were learning about some interesting job opportunities. We were learning about maybe just having a look around the office, what they can provide for jobs and all that for others. So, Natasha, what has been your experience at BHP?
Oh, that's a broad question. Just to kind of clarify, do you want to know like the different types of jobs that I've had at BHP? Is that what you mean when you ask for what my experience has been?
Well, just an overall, I mean, have you liked the job? What new stuff have you learned?
Okay, so I'm in learning and development. You know, Cornelius was talking a little bit about how sometimes when you do the job, there's all these other things that you also have to learn and do as part of, you know, your role. And my team are a team that kind of helped to build a lot of some of those things where you've got to learn about the company policies and how to use the company systems and how to do different things. And so that's what we do. But you know, we started off with a team that, you know, did a lot of training that was in classrooms, face-to-face. You know, we kind of get schedules and have trainers to deliver training like what we do now, but just, you know, in person, like, you know, in a school classroom. But, you know, over the course of, you know, an example of how our industry has changed, the learning and development industry, is the use of animations and videos and online learning. And so we've had to learn how to develop that. How do we design that? How do we develop that? How do we, you know, kind of get people excited about that? And so for a lot of my time at BHP, it's been kind of half, you know, learning and kind of developing and facilitating learning for people at BHP. And then also learning about like online stuff like animations and simulations and video editing and all those kind of fun things to try to help produce online learning for our people. And then more recently, like in the last, like, you know, 5 or so years, I've got a team of people. And so I've been learning about how to be a leader at BHP, how to try to encourage people, how to try to bring the best out of people, how to continually perform and, you know, stay on top of our targets and make sure that we're doing what, you know, we're doing and also providing a good service. So many different spaces across BHP for me and in different teams. But that's, you know, generally how it's gone. And I've really, really loved the organization. It's a really big company. For those that, you know, came there and got to see all the cool things, for me, it's a really cool thing that we connect up with people from different locations. It's a global company. So my boss lives in Melbourne. And before that, my boss used to live in Santiago in Chile. And I connect with people in Singapore and in Houston and in Brisbane. And so it's really cool to meet different people and connect to different people and get some insights into different work locations and cultures and how they kind of join together for doing the same job.
Yeah, can I just quickly? I know that Keisha, I know that Cornelius may want to say something, but I know we have very limited time. But beyond what Natasha just shared and what Cornelius may say, I think the audience we're engaging with, we also want to know what your experience was with that BHP talk. I know Nietzsche was not there, but Keisha and King David. But before we quickly just shortly, I don't know if Cornelius wants to add anything, but Tasha has just said it all. I think what Tasha has done now also, Tasha has ended up promoting BHP. So for the young ones out there, BHP is always looking for young, bright minds. So over to you. It's now the ball in your court right now to get there. BHP is looking for bright, young people, just like Natasha has promoted. Cornelius, briefly before the youth say something.
Yes, 100%. We are always looking for diverse for diverse qualities. The more diverse we are, the better we are, right? Because one person does not know all. Okay. For me, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is the challenge of keeping people safe, and how important it is, because it does not end in the workplace. Right? We keep people safe because it's the right thing to do, and they need to go back home to their families. Even if we get everything else wrong, everyone needs to go back home in one piece.
Thanks, Cornelius. So, Keisha and King David, we're talking about education today. LiME is to complement education. And your BHP trip would have done something. Just for the sake of the audience, can you inspire a few people with regards to that trip? Keisha, you first, briefly.
I was really interested. I think that was actually one of the first times that I've seen a real office that had gone into. I mean, with the tour and all that, that was one of the first times that I actually seen a real office and had gone and seen BHP and all that sort of thing. I also, this is BHP, but I also got some work experience at some other places as well as like admin and all that. And I don't know, maybe if BHP gives me a chance, I may love to do it again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tash. King David, just briefly, we're almost out of time.
Yeah. It was a really eye-opening experience because you walk in there and first of all, I don't even know what to expect because driving through Perth. I can see it now from my new house. Yeah, you go to the forest, you can just see BHP right there. You're looking at it, like what is to expect in this place? Like a massive building. Then you walk in and then you see all these things, your offices. You're like, oh, then what's happening? Like, how do they control the mining sound, all that stuff? They realize that they can control it from here and they have motion sensors, all that stuff. It was really, I won't say revolutionary, but just like wow type thing. And like the office space as well, how they were all together in different departments, like the whole tall building, the whole building, everything. It was really eye-opening. You could see how they organize their days. You walk in, you see the boards of the time of when different machinery is meant to be working and everything. It was really good. It was really, really, really honest. And for those who were looking for opportunities or to find out more about education, we wrote a whole chapter of it in our book. And if you'd like to get a copy, Amazon is there. Hit us up on Instagram. We'll tell you how to get
link
copies.
in the description.
Link in the description below, not on top, below. There'll also be an eye. The eye usually above, like up here. The eye is usually up there, and you can click on that as well. But thank you guys for tuning in. And also, just to shout out BHP again. If you ever want to, work at BHP, when you go to the top, the very top, oh my lord, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. In my life, most drinking right at the top. But want to shout out Miriam on her comment about humans and technology, but also want to thank you, the viewers, for coming and watching us. We're not doing this because ourselves. We're doing it because of you guys. We want to educate you guys as much as we can. And again, LiME is meant to complement school. It's not meant to take anything away from school. And yeah, it's been great being part of LiME and what we have for the future as well. And we hope to see you guys in 2 weeks' times. In 2 weeks' time. Awesome. Again, like today, tell your friends about it, like, comment so we can get to as many people as we can. And don't forget, you can always come back to this video or come back to our past videos or come back to our future videos when you want to. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye. Have a great Father's Day as well. Bye, guys.
Bye. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments down below.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this amazing podcast by Youth for You.
Have a great one, guys.
Yeah, and thanks to our mentors. Thank you so much, Taj. Thank you, Cornelius. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for having us. It's been lovely.
Have a good one.
Bye.